The Galactic Council had always heard rumors about Earth and its strange human inhabitants. Stories traveled across the galaxy, but each one seemed too wild to be true. Could these humans really be that unique? The Council needed to know for sure, so they decided to send a group of alien observers to Earth. Their mission was simple: observe humans and learn more about their culture, their strengths, and what made them different from the other species in the galaxy. When the alien delegation arrived, they were greeted by representatives from Earth who had eagerly prepared for this visit. Humans had already met other alien races, but rarely had visitors from such a powerful council. The alien observers, tall, thin beings with bright eyes that changed color with their emotions, were curious and highly intelligent. They had traveled from distant planets and had seen countless worlds, yet they knew little about Earth or the creatures that lived on it. The alien observers were now fully focused on understanding the strange relationship between humans and animals. They had seen glimpses of it before, but now they wanted a closer look. They thought, is this bond real? Or are humans simply skilled at training animals? To find out, the aliens decided to spend more time observing humans in different settings, hoping to uncover the truth. The next morning, the aliens joined a human biologist named Dr. Elena, who had agreed to show them her daily routine. Dr. Elena was an expert on Earth's wildlife, and she often worked in the forests, studying animals in their natural habitats. The alien observers were curious, but also a bit skeptical. They knew Dr. Elena was knowledgeable, but they still doubted the idea that humans and animals could truly understand each other. As they walked through the forest, they saw Dr. Elena stop and quietly look around. She held up her hand, signaling the aliens to stay silent. Suddenly, a deer stepped out from behind the trees, cautious but calm. Dr. Elena reached into her bag and pulled out an apple. She didn't say a word, but held out the apple, standing perfectly still. The aliens watched in amazement as the deer slowly approached, sniffed the apple, and gently took it from her hand before disappearing back into the forest. The aliens whispered among themselves. "Did you see that?" asked Zorn, one of the alien scientists. The deer wasn't afraid of her. It acted as though it trusted her completely. The observers continued with Dr. Elena, and the surprises didn't stop. At one point, they came across a large bird perched high in a tree. Dr. Elena let out a soft whistle, and the bird responded with a similar sound. She whistled again, making a different sound, and the bird replied with a new call, almost as if they were speaking a language only they understood. The aliens were stunned. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Their journey led them deeper into the forest, where they suddenly encountered a pack of wild wolves. The aliens froze in fear. To them, the wolves looked like fierce predators, with their sharp eyes and strong bodies. But Dr. Elena remained calm. She looked directly at the leader of the pack, made a few quiet sounds, and took a slow step back. The wolves, instead of attacking or running away, simply watched her with steady eyes. After a moment, they turned and trotted back into the forest, leaving the humans and aliens unharmed. The aliens were baffled. They had never seen such a thing. "How is this possible?" asked Varn, another alien scientist. "On our planet, animals don't behave this way. They avoid us, or worse, they see us as threats." Dr. Elena smiled, sensing their confusion. She explained, "It's not magic or trickery. Humans and animals have lived alongside each other for thousands of years. Over time, we learned to read their signals, to respect their space, and to communicate in small but meaningful ways." The aliens listened intently, still trying to process what they were witnessing. They had always believed that only intelligent species could communicate in such a way, yet here were humans and animals interacting with a bond that seemed almost impossible. It wasn't about dominance or control. It was about respect and understanding. The alien observers were beginning to realize that humans were far more connected to the creatures of their world than they had ever imagined. The alien observers were now filled with curiosity. They had seen humans interacting with animals in ways they couldn't understand, and each day brought new surprises. But they still had doubts. Was this human-animal connection truly as deep as it seemed, or was it just good training? The aliens decided that the only way to know for sure was to set up an experiment. The leader of the alien observers, Zorn, approached the human representatives with his plan. "We would like to conduct an experiment," he said. "We want to see if humans can truly communicate with animals in a controlled setting, with no words, no special tools, and no help." The humans agreed, intrigued by the idea. They selected a volunteer named Sarah, an experienced animal handler known for her gentle way with animals. Sarah wasn't just someone who trained animals. She had spent years working with them, learning their behaviors and understanding their needs. She accepted the challenge with a confident smile, ready to show the aliens the depth of human-animal understanding. For the experiment, the aliens set up a large open field with several obstacles. The task was simple. Sarah would need to guide a group of animals through a series of challenges using only gestures, eye contact, and body language. She couldn't speak, make any sounds, or use any tools. The aliens chose 3 different animals for her to work with: a dog, a bird, and a horse. Each animal had its own way of moving, thinking, and understanding the world, making the challenge even harder. As the experiment began, Sarah knelt down to meet the dog's eyes, giving it a gentle, reassuring look. She extended her hand, palm up, and the dog sniffed it, understanding her unspoken invitation to follow. With a slight tilt of her head and a soft movement of her arm, Sarah guided the dog through the first part of the obstacle course, weaving between poles and jumping over low hurdles. The dog responded eagerly, watching her every movement and following her directions perfectly. The aliens watched in awe, noting how smoothly they worked together. Next, Sarah turned her attention to the bird. She held out her hand and the bird landed gently on her finger. With a subtle flick of her wrist, she encouraged the bird to fly through a series of hoops set up in the field. The bird, as if understanding her silent guidance, flew gracefully from one hoop to the next. The aliens could hardly believe their eyes. They had never seen such a connection between a human and a bird before. Finally, it was time for the horse. Sarah approached it slowly, letting the horse sense her calm presence. She placed a gentle hand on its neck, then took a step back, signaling it to follow. With only small gestures and soft pats, she guided the horse around the obstacles, moving in perfect harmony. The aliens were amazed. The horse seemed to trust her completely, moving with a grace and ease that left them speechless. When the experiment ended, the aliens gathered around, full of questions. "How did you do that?" asked Varn, clearly astonished. "You didn't speak, you didn't use any tools, yet each animal knew exactly what to do." Sarah smiled and explained, "It's all about understanding. Animals have their own ways of speaking, through their movements, their eyes, and their energy. Humans have learned to listen to them in ways that don't need words." The aliens were left in awe. They realized that humans had something truly special, a connection with the creatures of their world that was built on mutual respect and deep understanding. It wasn't just training, it was a bond that defied explanation, and the aliens knew they had witnessed something remarkable. As they began their tour, the alien observers were impressed by Earth's vibrant landscapes, vast oceans, lush forests, towering mountains, and sprawling cities filled with life. They had expected to see humans, of course, but they hadn't expected to see so many other types of creatures. Birds swooped overhead, squirrels darted around in trees, and dogs walked peacefully beside humans. The aliens watched closely, puzzled by how these animals moved so freely among humans, seemingly without fear. One of the alien scientists, named Zorn, turned to his team and asked, "Do you see how the animals respond to humans? They seem comfortable, even trusting." The other aliens nodded, surprised. On their own planets, animals stayed far from intelligent beings, often hiding or fleeing. Here on Earth, though, the animals seemed calm around humans. They weren't just tolerating humans. It was as if they felt some sort of connection to them. As the aliens observed more, their confusion grew. They saw humans feeding birds from their hands, whispering to horses, and calling out to their dogs with a language that the animals seemed to understand. The humans would say a few words, make a few gestures, and the animals would respond almost as if they understood. Zorn and the other aliens had never seen anything like it. Later, they visited a forest where a human guide was showing them different plants and animals. Suddenly, the group noticed a pack of wolves in the distance. The aliens tensed, worried the wolves might attack. But to their shock, The human guide calmly raised a hand, made a soft sound, and the wolves stopped. They watched the humans for a moment before turning back into the forest, as if they understood that the humans were friends, not threats. The aliens were stunned. On their home planets, such behavior would be unthinkable. Wild animals were untamed, unpredictable, and often dangerous. They couldn't imagine how a human without any weapons or armor could face down a pack of wolves and simply send them away. How did the humans do it? The aliens began to realize that this human-animal connection went deeper than they'd thought. It wasn't just about food or shelter. The humans seemed to understand these animals in ways the aliens couldn't explain, almost as if they shared a language no one else could hear. The aliens were now more intrigued than ever, eager to learn how humans had achieved such a powerful and unique bond with the creatures of their world. After witnessing the amazing experiment, the alien observers were more curious than ever. They were amazed by the way Sarah had worked with the animals, moving as if they shared a silent language. They had seen many intelligent species across the galaxy, but none had ever displayed such a deep bond with the creatures around them. The aliens wanted to know, what was the secret? How did humans form such a strong connection with animals? The alien leader, Zorn, approached Sarah, who was now surrounded by the animals she had worked with during the experiment. Zorn asked her directly, "How do you do it, Sarah? How do humans connect with animals in a way that seems like magic? We have never seen this anywhere else." Sarah smiled warmly and took a moment to think. She could see how puzzled and curious the aliens were. She wanted to explain it in a way they could truly understand. Finally, she said, "The secret, if you want to call it that, is empathy. Empathy means understanding and sharing the feelings of another being. Humans don't just train animals, we try to understand them, to feel what they feel, and to respect their world." The aliens looked at each other, still unsure. They had heard of empathy before, but had never thought of it as a way to communicate with animals. On their own planets, animals were either wild or simply ignored. They weren't treated as beings with feelings or thoughts. Sarah continued, "You see, every animal is unique. They have their own personalities, their own fears, and their own way of seeing the world. When we approach an animal, we try to put ourselves in their place. We imagine what they might be feeling. Are they scared, hungry, curious? Once we understand this, we can connect with them on a deeper level." The aliens were intrigued. They had never thought of communication in this way before. They had always used technology to understand other beings, translating languages or sending signals. But humans were doing something completely different. They weren't just using words or signals. They were using feelings. Varn, one of the alien scientists, asked, "But how do you know what an animal feels? You can't read their minds." Sarah nodded. "True, we can't read their minds, but we can read their body language. Animals have subtle ways of telling us what they feel. A dog wags its tail when it's happy. A cat purrs when it feels safe. And even a bird's posture can show if it's relaxed or tense. By paying close attention to these signs, we learn to understand their moods and needs." The aliens listened closely, fascinated. They realized that humans had developed a unique skill over thousands of years, one that allowed them to coexist peacefully with many different kinds of creatures. Zorn thought about his own planet, where animals and intelligent beings lived separately, never interacting in meaningful ways. For him, the idea of empathy was new and challenging, yet inspiring. Sarah went on, "This bond is built on respect. We don't force animals to do things, we invite them. We try to earn their trust, and once they trust us, they're willing to follow and understand us too. It's a two-way street. They learn from us, and we learn from them." The aliens were deeply moved by Sarah's words. They had always seen humans as just another species, but now they understood that humans had something extraordinary. A heart that could connect with beings who couldn't speak, who couldn't share words, but who could share a bond through mutual trust and empathy. As the day ended, the aliens realized that they had come to Earth to observe and learn about human technology, society, and intelligence. Instead, they had discovered a hidden treasure, the remarkable empathy humans held, not only for each other but for all living beings around them. This, they knew, was humanity's true strength, a strength that went beyond science, beyond words, and deep into the heart of what it meant to be human. The alien observers returned to the Galactic Council with their report on humanity. When they arrived, council members from many different planets gathered to hear what the aliens had learned. The council had expected to hear about human technology, science, or perhaps their social systems. But what the observers shared was something completely unexpected, the unique bond humans had with the animals on their planet. The council leader, a wise and ancient being named Taral, looked at the lead observer, Zorn, with curiosity. "Tell us, Zorn, what did you learn about these humans? Are they dangerous or peaceful? Should we fear them or welcome them?" Zorn took a deep breath, remembering everything he had witnessed on Earth. "Leader Taral," he began, "humans are unlike any other species we have encountered. They possess a remarkable ability to form connections, not only with each other, but with the creatures they share their world with. They communicate with animals in ways we could not have imagined." The council members murmured in surprise. They had always thought of animals as simple beings, creatures that acted on instinct without deep thoughts or emotions. But the observers' report challenged everything they believed. Zorn continued, "Humans use something called empathy. They do not simply command animals. They try to understand them, to feel what they feel. This empathy creates a powerful bond that allows them to communicate without words." Taral tilted his head, fascinated. "But how is this possible, Zorn? How can humans connect with creatures who do not speak their language?" Zorn explained, "Humans watch animals closely. They learn to understand the small signs animals give, their body language, their sounds, their expressions. This way, they sense an animal's needs, fears, and even emotions. They do not force animals to obey. Instead, they earn their trust. This respect builds a relationship that is deep and meaningful." Another council member, Yara from the planet Kalor, raised a question. "So humans see animals as equals. They respect them as we respect each other?" Zorn nodded. "In many ways, yes. Humans have a saying, 'We are all part of one Earth.' They believe that every creature has a role in the balance of life. Instead of trying to dominate or ignore their animals, they seek to live in harmony with them. This has given humans a unique strength, a heart that feels, understands, and values all forms of life." The council members were quiet, taking in this new information. They had long thought of humans as just another developing species, but now they saw that humans were more than just intelligent. They were compassionate, capable of forming relationships that went beyond their own kind. Taral spoke again, this time with admiration. "This empathy, this respect for life, may be one of the greatest strengths we have ever seen. It makes humans strong, not only in mind but in spirit. Perhaps we have been measuring intelligence in the wrong way. True intelligence, it seems, includes the ability to feel and connect with others, even those who are different." The council members nodded in agreement. They had come to view empathy, understanding, and respect as valuable qualities. Because of what the alien observers had shared, the council decided to change their approach to humanity. No longer would they treat humans as distant beings to be watched and analyzed. Instead, they would approach Earth with respect and friendship, hoping to learn from humanity's unique wisdom. The council leader made a final declaration. "Let us invite humans to share their knowledge of empathy and connection with the galaxy. They have much to teach us, and we, in turn, have much to learn. Perhaps humanity's bond with animals is just the beginning of a new understanding between species throughout the universe." As the council session ended, Zorn and his team felt a sense of pride. Their journey to Earth had transformed not only their own understanding, but the perspectives of the entire Galactic Council. And as they looked out at the stars, they knew that humanity's empathy and compassion would one day unite worlds across the galaxy, creating bonds that would go beyond language, beyond borders, and into the very heart of life itself. In the end, the Council could not reach a consensus. The tension was palpable. Zaren's report had left them all with more questions than answers. They all agreed on one thing, though. Earth could no longer be treated as an afterthought. Humanity's abilities were too powerful to be dismissed. But whether this power would lead to cooperation or conflict was still unknown. As the meeting drew to a close, Vera spoke up one last time. "Perhaps," she said softly, "we need to take a different approach. Maybe instead of seeing them as a threat, we should learn from them. If they can live in harmony with the creatures of their world, perhaps they can teach us something we've lost. It may not be too late for us to open our minds and our hearts." Her words left the room in a heavy silence. The Council had never faced a situation quite like this. For the first time in history, they were unsure of how to proceed with a species that could be both a blessing and a danger. There was fear, yes, but also a hint of hope. Humanity's gift with animals could be the key to a new understanding in the galaxy, or it could lead to disaster. The Council had to decide soon, but for now, the future of humanity hung in the balance, and no one could say for certain which way it would swing. As Zaran left the chamber, he felt a deep unease. He had come to Earth believing that the humans were no different from any other species, but now he wasn't so sure. The future was uncertain and the galaxy was watching. Would humanity prove to be the galaxy's greatest ally or its greatest threat? Only time would tell. The alien researchers now know that humans have a gift, a unique ability to communicate with animals. It's not magic, but it's something that other species in the galaxy haven't experienced. Humans can connect with creatures of all kinds, speaking to them in ways that transcend language. This ability to understand and bond with animals is not just impressive, it's powerful. And the aliens begin to realize that this ability could change the way humans interact with the universe, and perhaps even how they interact with other alien species in the future. The alien researchers are now completely fascinated by what they've discovered. They never expected to learn so much from watching humans interact with animals. Xylo, the lead scientist, gathers his team to discuss their findings. The more they think about it, the more they realize just how important this discovery could be. Humans are unlike any species they've encountered before. Not only do they have the ability to communicate with animals, but they do so in a way that goes beyond simple understanding or training. It's almost as if humans have a special connection with the natural world, a bond that no other species can replicate. Xylo and his team begin to consider the bigger implications of this revelation. If humans can communicate so deeply with animals, then perhaps they also have the potential to connect with other species in the galaxy in ways that no one else can. The alien researchers start to feel a sense of awe for the humans. For the first time, they start to wonder if humans could be the key to something greater, something beyond their understanding. As Xylo thinks more about the connection between humans and animals, he begins to see it as a type of universal language, a language that transcends words and species. This language is not about speaking in sounds, but about understanding one another through emotions, gestures, and the shared experience of life. Xylo has studied many species from across the galaxy, but none of them communicate in the same way. Most alien species rely on complex languages, technology, or telepathy to communicate with one another. But humans don't need any of that. They can understand and connect with the creatures around them without speaking a word. To test this new theory, the aliens decide to conduct one final experiment. This time they want to see if humans can communicate not just with animals, but with alien species as well. They have been watching Earth from a distance for months, and they've learned that humans are capable of forming bonds with creatures they've never met before. But what if humans could do the same with aliens? Could they bridge the gap between two completely different species, just as they do with animals? The aliens choose a safe, controlled setting for the test. They create a small, isolated area on Earth where they send one of their own species, a gentle, peaceful alien with the ability to communicate using sound waves but not words. This alien, named Kelnar, has been chosen for the experiment because it's known for being calm and non-threatening. The aliens want to see if a human like Clara can form a connection with Kelnar the same way she has with animals. The moment Clara enters the area where Kelnar is waiting, the alien researchers watch closely. Clara doesn't appear afraid, despite the fact that she is standing face to face with a creature from another world. Kelnar, too, seems unbothered by Clara's presence. Instead of speaking or using any technology, Kelnar begins to produce a series of gentle sound waves. It's not a language, just soothing tones that ripple through the air. The sound is calming, almost like a soft hum, and it seems to resonate with Clara. At first, Clara tilts her head, listening carefully to the sounds. She closes her eyes for a moment, focusing on the waves of sound. Then, to the alien's surprise, Clara steps forward. She reaches out her hand towards Kelnar, who in turn makes a small, soothing sound. Clara smiles gently and nods as if she understands exactly what Kelnar is trying to say, even though no words have been spoken. The alien researchers can hardly believe what they are seeing. Clara and Kelnar are communicating not through language, but through emotion and energy. Clara's calm presence seems to mirror Kelnar's peaceful sounds, and for a moment, it feels as though the two are sharing a silent understanding. There is no fear, no confusion, just a deep, quiet connection. This moment is a turning point for the aliens. They now realize that humans have an incredible gift. They don't need words or advanced technology to communicate. Instead, they have a natural ability to understand and connect with other beings, whether they are animals or aliens. The aliens are amazed by this revelation, and they begin to understand that humans might have the power to unite different species in ways that no one else ever could. Xylo feels a deep sense of wonder as he watches Clara and Kelnar. He realizes that humans' ability to communicate with animals isn't just a random quirk of nature. It's a gift that could change the entire galaxy. What if humans, with their unique way of connecting with life, could be the key to bringing together different species? What if they could create peace between civilizations that have never spoken to each other? The possibilities seem endless. The aliens now see humanity in a new light. They are no longer just another species among many. They are a force of unity and understanding, capable of bridging the gap between worlds. This realization sparks a new sense of excitement within the alien researchers. They can already imagine the countless opportunities for cooperation between humans and other species across the galaxy. But for now, they know that the humans themselves are only beginning to realize the true power of their gift. And as they continue to observe, the aliens can't help but feel that the universe will never be the same again. Humanity's potential has just begun to unfold, and the entire galaxy may one day be changed by the simple yet profound way humans communicate with the world around them. The alien researchers have made a groundbreaking discovery. Humans possess an incredible ability to communicate with animals, and potentially even with other alien species. They've seen it firsthand through Clara's gentle connection with creatures like the deer, eagle, and dolphins, and then witnessed her silent, peaceful interaction with the alien named Kelnar. Now they must report their findings to the Galactic Council, a group made up of representatives from many different planets and species across the galaxy. The Galactic Council is a powerful body that oversees intergalactic relations, peace, and exploration. They make decisions that affect the entire galaxy, and their opinions shape the future of countless civilizations. The researchers know that presenting their findings about humans will be a big deal. It's not every day that a new species is discovered with such unique abilities, but there's a sense of unease among the alien scientists. What will the Council think of their findings? Will they see the potential of humanity, or will they dismiss it as just another oddity? Xylo, the lead researcher, prepares a detailed report on the human ability to communicate with animals. He includes all the data, observations, and experiments they've conducted. He even records Clara's interactions with Kelnar, the peaceful alien, as proof that humans can form connections with beings from other worlds. Xylo's heart races as he presents the report to the Council. The Council chamber is a vast room with representatives from dozens of different species. Each species has its own way of communicating, and there is a quiet hum of energy as the beings sit in their seats, waiting for the presentation. The air is thick with anticipation. Xylo steps forward, his report in hand, and begins to speak. We, the researchers from the Valtarian Federation, have made an incredible discovery on the planet Earth, Xylo says, his voice steady but filled with excitement. Humans possess a rare and unique ability to communicate with animals and potentially even with beings from other worlds. This ability is unlike anything we have observed in any other species.